2023 Russian champion figure skater Sofia Akateva said she was confident in continuing her career after missing last season due to injury. In the beginning, it was, in fact, a challenge to watch competitions that I couldn't participate in, especially when I first got injured. I was supposed to go to the Russian Grand Prix stage in a week. I was preparing for it. I was in pretty good shape. And watching the broadcast, realizing that I should have been there on the ice, was hard. But then, as the season went on, I gradually let go of the situation. I realized that if I go through this path, then next season I will return and be able to compete. With the acceptance, of course, it became easier. There was never a second of doubt about the return. Not for a moment did I think that I could just give up everything. I landed a quadruple on the very first day as I began to restore it. The difficulty is to maintain it and skate it into the program. I don't even know if it's psychology or physics that's interfering here. In general, I'm jumping it. Everything is fine, and at some point it can just stop working. I was writing it out in training, but in order to perform it in the program, you need something more than consistency. 10 out of 10, a jump that you are 100% confident in, which works out in almost any state, when nervous or tired. Then it will be in competitions. For now, the quad is in the recovery stage. Alena Costa Sport quotes Akateva as saying, 18-year-old Russian figure skater, student of honored coach of Russia Edery Tutberidze Kamila Valieva posted a cute family photo on social networks against the backdrop of a decorated New Year tree. Family, Valieva captioned the photo, adding the emoji heart. European champion Alena Kostornaya, who performs in pair skating with Georgi Kanitsa, explained the reasons for her career suspension. In November, the duo announced that they would skip 2 seasons. Today we went out and, in principle, skated well. It was important for me to skate as if it were the last time. Because at this moment we are skating competitive programs for the last time. Because we will not skate 2 seasons. That's it. I will not chew over this topic any longer. Yes, it is related to health. It is related to the physical and psycho-emotional state, which is not in the best shape now. And you ask such questions that I am starting to shake. I want to once again, well, not apologize, but sympathize that it turned out this way. But I already said that we were at a crossroads of 2 roads, and one component still outweighed our decision that we would not compete for now. But nothing terrible or serious will happen from this, and we will go out again and be stronger, much stronger than now, the figure skater said in the film Parallel Rotation. Kostornaya has been performing in a pair with Kanitsa since 2023. In September, the pair showed 2 programs at the Russian national team's test skates in St. Petersburg. Talk about mental health has degenerated into a cliché and downright vulgarity in recent years. But today we will talk about it. If there is one important thing in the sensational rise of 25-year-old Amber Glenn to the elite of women's skating, it is a reminder of mentality as one of the decisive factors in sports. A year or 2 ago, Glenn's name as the future leader of figure skating could only come to mind of freaks and madmen. Before the Lombardia Trophy in September 2024, Amber had not won a single international tournament. But now she has won the Grand Prix final, defeating 3-time world champion, the dominant figure skater of the disqualification era, Kaori Sakamoto, and other top Japanese women along with her, thereby verifying her entry into the top of the figure skating world. At 25, Amber mastered the Ultra C element, the triple axel, and now consistently performs it in her programs. She tried it before, but the percentage of successful attempts was close to Kaliada's quadlets. In figure skating, acquiring a triple axel at an age 7 to 8 years older than that at which some Russian figure skaters finish their careers is an event. In X, on Reddit, in the comments on sports, they are already guessing, not without transparent hints, what is the reason for Glenn's unexpected rise? ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, is a diagnosis infamous due to the leak of the Fancy Bears hacker group in 2017. It allows you to receive therapeutic exemptions and use drugs that are considered doping. ADHD is especially common in the States. It was diagnosed in Michael Phelps, Simone Biles, Justin Gatlin, Michael Jordan, and others. The narrative that ADHD is just the key to legal doping in big-time sports resonated with Russian viewers in the era of the McLaren report. In this situation, ADHD in American sports became a saving counternarrative, a straw that is easy to cling to and ask, "And who are you?" Amber Glenn also has this diagnosis, but I'm afraid that due to the peculiarities of the perception of this disease in sports and the backwardness of Russian medicine in this matter, she has no chance of being correctly understood and not provoking suspicion. ADHD, as a rule, is not diagnosed in Russia. By the way, panic attacks were also laughed at until the mid-2010s. In an interview with Maya Bagriantseva, Glenn tried to explain the reason for her rise without ignoring ADHD. "I had to work hard with my diagnosis. I don't hide the fact that I have ADHD, which led to my depression and anxiety getting worse. The fact that we were able to deal with the cause of my unstable condition also helped my overall well-being. So now I know for sure you have to fight and not give up. No matter what hole you find yourself in, you have to remember that there is a way out." This summer, it was as if something clicked in my head. I learned to keep my nerves under control. I had several pretty serious concussions. I broke both cheekbones, the ones under my eyes. I had a lot of black eyes from falls. I had to correct the consequences of these injuries, but the main thing was to learn to get out of the fight or flight state. You know, when you have a very acute reaction to stress. I used to go out on the ice and feel like a bear was chasing me. I got tired very quickly because I had been tensing up as much as possible before. There are rumors that I suddenly started taking some kind of magic drug, and that's how the results came about. But since 2019, I have had the same list of basic medications for anxiety and depression, which has not changed since then. And the dosage has not changed either. If the head wants, the legs can. Football coach Valerie Karpin once said with amazing accuracy, explaining why perfect physical shape can lead to both a series of defeats and a series of victories. Sports are full of examples of miraculous transformations, and in figure skating there are plenty of them even before Glenn. In the 2012-13 season, Javier Fernandez won the European Championship for the first time on his 7th attempt. Before this, he had never even stood on the podium at the Euro or World Championship. His best result at the Euro was 6th place, 2011-12. In the next 6 seasons, until the end of his career, Javier won all the European Championships, 2 World Championships, and an Olympic bronze. We saw the fantastic transformation of Michael Brezina and Ashley Wagner under the guidance of Rafael Aretunian. We saw how Elizaveta Tuktamasheva became world champion after failing to qualify for the Olympics. We saw the spectacular rise of the dance couple Papadakis-Cizerin. They became European and world champions a year after finishing 15th and 13th in these tournaments. All these miraculous transformations have different factors, but they all have one thing in common. That same click in the head that Amber Glenn talks about. For some reason, it reminds me of the concept of a magical place that athletes believe in, the zone. In sports, they talk a lot about a magical place called the zone. You've probably heard of it. It's a place where everything works out, where no matter the weather, the crowd, or the sweat in your eyes, nothing can break your focus, where you do everything perfectly, where every shot is on target. Nothing can stop you. American podcast host Jody Avirgan begins one of the TED episodes, Good Sport. I believe in the zone because it's the one moment when everything is kind of on autopilot. There's just a synergy with everything you're trying to do, and even your intentions are validated by the atmosphere around you, where it feels like everything else is going right at the same time. You kind of get lost in that moment. You can't control any of it, says American basketball icon Steph Curry. Athletes are superstitious, but what if the zone isn't a magical place, but just a euphemism for a sudden peak, a better version of yourself that came as a surprise, including to the athlete? What if the decisive factor in sports is sometimes that very click in the head, turning on, launching the best version? What if in fact sports are far from just a struggle of muscles and pumped-up bodies, coaching ideas, tactics and strategy, statistical analysis and determination, but also a history of searching for that very click? This is what the story of Amber Glenn's rise is really about how a person and an athlete are an open, unfinished system, capable of changing and growing. About how often we are prevented from seeing this by chronic defensive cynicism in the spirit of people do not change in a year or in millennia. About how destructive is the false attitude with which it is sometimes customary to look at any sport, and especially figure skating, The axiom that all trends and trajectories are eternal, that those who grow will continue to grow, and those who regress will continue to regress. That everything will remain as it is. The winners of tomorrow will be today's favorites. This blind faith in the omnipotence of season best, the best rating of the season. Investors pay billions for following such axioms, and we only read comments about how the Americans deceived everyone again. There are things stronger than pills. And until we realize this, grandfather's desserts with a taste of disappointment in the anti-doping movement and the smell of cynicism of those who believe that everything in sports and in the world is essentially a fraud will continue to accompany us.
It was unexpected, it was shocking, and you couldn't